Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NFL Week 14 preview episode of Stacking the Box. Iain MacMillan here. I am back in New York. Sterling Holmes with me once again. What's going on, Sterling?
Yo. Yeah, baby. I'm excited. I've missed you. I love the goatee. Your goatee is absolutely electric. And you need to shave the little chin strap thing you got going. It's really bringing it down from it could be a
you keep
solid
calling
9.
it a goatee. It's not a goatee. It is a beard. It might be a poor effort at a beard, but it's not a beard unless I shave the side parts. And I'm not going to because I can't go full goatee.
Why? You would look
Because that's a look I'm not ready to commit to yet. I'm hoping that just the hair on the sides of my face will grow in and then I'll have an actual beard.
No one under the age of 40 has a standalone goatee, but you could be the first.
I don't want to be the first. It is a beard. There is hair there. It's not as thick as the goatee hair, but it is technically there.
Gross.
Don't me.
You got It's a Falcons of beards.
We're starting off the show with a movie recommendation, Sterling. You saw a movie lately that you highly recommended to me before we went live.
Oh yeah, baby. I watched the Chiefs Hallmark Christmas movie. Now, everyone who's not a Chiefs fan, you're gonna love this. This was one of the most absurd movies I have ever seen in my entire life. Just hilarious. The budget was $9 and random people off the street. The amount of people, I'm like, hey, I know that guy. Oh, I know that person. Wait, I know you. You're not an actor. You also have speaking lines in this. It through the roof.
Why, hold on. Why didn't you get a part in this?
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm surprised they didn't come ask me. That's how surprised I am.
We could have done a little stack in the box. Could have been part of it.
Oh, dude, my middle school drama teacher would have that right there gave me enough to be in this. I mean, the snow. If you've seen the video in the snow part or the movie part in the snow part comes up, you died laughing. You had to have. They superimposed white spots on the middle of people's faces going through them. It was like Galaga. I was just perplexed by it. Also, apparently, Crown Center is just a jaunty walk to independence. They are nowhere near each other. That you cannot walk there, yet they did that in the movie. One of my favorite parts is they went up and he goes, I'm going to show you the penthouse. There is a penthouse in Arrowhead. Clark Hunt's house. The Hunts, they have basically an apartment at Arrowhead. No, that's not where they went. They went to the media room. They went to the media room. You go, let me take you to the penthouse. Hey, take it to the media room. I've been there. I've walked there. And then he proceeds to go, this is the best view in the house. No, it's not. When you see the flyovers and the stealth bombers flying over Arrowhead, and you're like, wow, they're high up there. You are taller in the media spot than the planes are. It's not the best view in the house. I was dying laughing. Very, very funny. Holiday touchdown. Could not recommend anymore because you have to go in it with certain expectations. You go in with some booze and some jaunty laughs expected to happen, and not for the ways you might think.
So I thought this movie was the one that was based on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, but it's not. So there's Holiday Touchdown, which is based on the Chiefs. Then there's Christmas in the Spotlight, which is based on the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce relationship. Is there just going to be a whole genre of movies in the Kansas City Chiefs universe? There's the MCU and now there's the KCU.
In fairness, Hallmark is from Kansas City.
That is fair. That's a fair point.
And also, in fairness to them, I don't think they cared that much about this one. They didn't put all their budget. Some Hallmark movies I can get behind and say, all right, that was kind of fun. Not for me, but I am married, and sometimes it's fun to sit down with a glass or two or three of bourbon and get what's that?
Bailey's.
And get into the movie. Yeah, Sean goes, how was Trent Green in it? Yeah, Trent Green was actually great. Trent Green, friend of the show. Trent Green. Trent Green was the best actor in that show, in the movie. Trent was awesome.
Have you seen Christmas in the Spotlight?
No,
not over yet.
I have no idea. Probably.
Is it out?
Could be.
If it's not out now, it's going to come out soon. All right, that's enough about Kansas City Chiefs related Christmas movies. I might watch it. We'll see. All right, we are going to preview every single. We're not going to preview Christmas movies this episode. Maybe that'll be for a later date. We are going November 23rd. Apparently, says producer Sean that the Christmas
it's out.
Came out. So that's out. Yeah. So that's, I guess, Sterling. That's next on our list. You'll have to watch that one and then give us a review of that one next. We're going to talk football because that's what this show is. It's a football show. We're going to preview all 13 games of Week 14. It is the final week of bye weeks. We are turning the corner, entering the final stretch of the NFL regular season. We're going to go through every single game, give our thoughts, and then give out our picks at the end. But before we get into all that, I feel nervous to read the ad read now, Sterling, after how good of an ad read you did the other day. Underdog, it's the best place to cash in on all of your takes this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are ice cold? Make your entries in just a few taps and turn your sports opinions into real money. Join over 5 million fans that are already playing on Underdog. With their pick'em game, you could win money by making entries with your favorite players. Underdog is the best place to play champions, so sign up and deposit now using promo code Stacking the Box to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That is Stacking the Box, all one word. I love Underdog. Sterling, you were talking about the other day about how Underdogs has saved you multiple times this season with
like
players
a lot of times
who have been injured.
Too many times they've saved me. They are quite generous.
I have not been lucky enough to get a lineup saved by an injury. Download the app today and use code Stack in the Box to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Higher or lower, you make the call on Underdog. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus Massachusetts and Arizona. President of the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800 next step 1-800-639-8783 or text next step to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line 1-877-8-NY or text OpenY 467-369.
Yes, dude, that was the best. That's the best you've done.
I still need to work. I'm going to get reps this weekend and then come back next week and see if I can top it a little bit better.
We need to get a timer. We need Sean to start timing the ad reads, the legal description, the legal, of course.
All right, let's talk Week 14. Sterling, Thursday Night Football. It is a fun one. It is the Green Bay Packers against the Detroit Lions in an NFC North showdown. A very pivotal game on Thursday Night Football, which isn't always the case. Out of the primetime games, Thursdays tend to be the one that sometimes sucks. This one doesn't, because if the Packers win this game, they are not only live to win the NFC North, they kind of get in the battle to get the number one seed in the conference as well. They'd have to, things go their way a little bit with the Vikings and Eagles, but big game for the Packers, big game for the Lions. Obviously can secure the NFC North a little bit further with a win. Lions are 3-point home favorites, 3.5 at some places, over under 51. What are your thoughts generally about this one? These two teams already played. The Lions beat them by 10 points, I think.
I hate that this is on Thursday night. Hate it.
Why?
I wish this was Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. Give them time. This is a great game. But Thursday Night Football, you have no idea what you're going to get. Sometimes you get great games. Sometimes you get the Ravens and the Bengals. Other times you get a 17-14 game where neither team was really ready, especially this late in the season when teams and players are so banged up. Everyone's nursing some sort of injury with a lot of playoff implications on the line. And again, I have no money. I have no reason for either team. Just as a NFL fan and understanding the fan bases, you should be upset. I think you should feel a certain way if you are a Packers or a Lions fan. I get both teams have to play in this. I get it. I understand. I just hate that you're getting into Week 14, massive playoff implications, the potential one seed on the line, and it's Thursday Night Football. Playing on a short week. Again, a lot of teams have to do this. The Chiefs, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Texans later on have that 3 games in 10 days stretch. I agree. It's BS. I hate it. Give me the best product. Let the healthy players, or as healthy as you're going to be this part of the season, let those guys play. Josh Jacobs, for example, trying to fight through an injury. I mean, it's just should be a great game, but I have lower expectations because it is Thursday night.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in the other game, the first meeting between these two teams. I brought the box score up. The Lions were up big. The Packers scored 8 points in the fourth to make it a 10-point game. But then when you actually look at some of the numbers, I mean, yards per play, Packers at 6.6, Lions at 4.7. There was
11
a
minutes
pick
in.
six.
Nice.
What's that?
Yards per play, 11 minutes in.
I didn't have the N word in front of it though, so it doesn't count.
Net yards. Shoot.
11 minutes in. 6.6 to 4.7 yards per play in the first game in favor of the Packers. They did throw pick six, which was a big difference maker, and they had 10 penalties for 67 yards. So I actually think this game might have been a lot closer than the 24-14 final score indicates. So it's going to be interesting how the rematch goes down, especially with this one being in Detroit. I have a hard time picking against the Lions. I get that it's Thursday night. I get that it's a divisional game, but I mean, the Lions, and I've made this claim probably 6 weeks ago now, they're the best team in the NFL, and I don't think it's close. They're a top 5 offense, top 5 defense. You could say top 3 in both those categories. They're coached well. Their special teams are great. The only way the Lions lose to any team in the NFL, including the Packers, is they have a bad game, which you can't really predict. Teams will have bad games, but you can't really predict when those bad games are happening. There's no area of the Lions where I look at them and they're like, okay, the Packers can kind of exploit this weakness of the Lions. It's just not there. So you're just picking on whether or not the Lions are going to have a good game or a bad game.
Yeah, and you're also stuck in a situation where the Lions are playing so good that they can throw 5 interceptions and still win.
Right.
I mean, that's just insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I like the Lions in this one. I like the under more than anything. If I was going to rip a number, if you're like, hey, what are you going to take? I'm taking the under.
Yeah, producer Sean says Green Bay has given up fewer than 45 yards rushing in 2 straight weeks for the second time since 1950. Interesting. I mean, if you can, that's certainly one path to victory. If you can shut down the two-headed monster of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, you're going to have a better chance to beat the Lions than if those two go off. All right, let's move on to Sunday's games. One of the biggest spreads of the season is the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 12-point favorites to the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers have looked feisty the past few weeks, almost upset the Buccaneers. That would have helped the Falcons quite a bit if Chuba Hubbard didn't fumble in overtime. Couple wins before that, almost beat the Chiefs. I do have a comment about this game, specifically Bryce Young in general. Now, us on the show, Sterling, we have given Bryce Young props for looking a lot better in his return. But I now think we need to pump the brakes a little bit, because now, I'm seeing people talk about Bryce Young as if, now he's deserving of being that number 1 overall pick. I'm seeing people who are draft experts who had Bryce Young as the best player in the NFL. They're now doing victory laps saying, oh yeah, see, I was right about Bryce Young being the best player in the draft. Let's relax a little bit. He's gone from the worst quarterback in the past decade to now he's an average quarterback. So Bryce Young has certainly played better, but we're comparing him to the Bryce Young that was horrific to watch. He's gotten better, but he's still nowhere near even look close to the expectations of what a number 1 overall quarterback should look like while playing in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think that's a little silly, and people just want to make themselves feel like they got something right. The clear answer is still C.J. Stroud. You got to see a lot more consistency from Bryce Young. Now, obviously, C.J. Stroud was put in a better situation. Bryce Young was not. But I don't see why people would be taking a victory lap over Bryce Young looking solid over the past couple games, yet we have a year and a half of brutal QB play on the other side. So we'll see. I'm glad that he's at least starting to turn things around. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Panthers fans. At least gives you something to look forward to. Because, again, all the draft capital, you trade DJ Moore, and you drafted a guy who was not looking, he looked like a complete bust. I mean, that sets your franchise back 5+ years. At least if you're a Panthers fan, you have some sliver of hope, which I'm happy for. Every fan base deserves at least some sliver of hope. That said, this is a horrible matchup for Bryce Young and the Panthers.
Yep,
I know how, and I think a lot of people will say, well, look how the Panthers have played the past couple weeks. Chiefs defense has not been looking good. Chiefs defense has been, you look at the points overall and you're like, okay, the Chiefs defense isn't, you watch the games and you're like, oh man,
right.
Good offenses are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
The Panthers found ways, but it wasn't enough. The Eagles, on the other hand, their secondary is playing some good ball. We've talked about this. Cooper DeJean getting inserted into the slot has really helped this secondary and the defense in totality. They have 6, 7, 8 different pass rushers they throw at you. I think this is a bad matchup for Bryce Young. That's my personal opinion. So I would probably take the Eagles with the points, as shocking as a number it is. I think you see bad Bryce this week.
Yeah, you nailed it. They beat the Saints by 1 point. They needed overtime to beat the Giants. They lost to the most fraudulent team in NFL history by field goal, and then they lost in overtime to the Buccaneers, who have like a bottom 5 defense. So not exactly a string of world beaters that the Panthers, how they play against the toughest team that they have played against all season. And if you want to make Saquon Barkley an MVP candidate and you are Nick Sirianni, this is the game you give the ball to him 30 times, because the Panthers' run defense is one of the worst in the NFL. 31st in opponent rush EPA, dead last in opponent rush success rate, also giving up 4.8 yards per carry. Saquon might rush for 250 in this game.
By the way, you calling the 11-1 back-to-back Super Bowl champions biggest frauds in NFL history as Kirk Cousins threw 4 interceptions with all that hype heading into the year. That is sure is something. You can't be
fraud if you're just bad, though.
Ian.
Like, nobody thinks the Falcons are good, so they can't be fraud.
A lot of people did heading into this year, yourself included.
Definition of fraud is a team that people think is good, but they're actually not. Nobody thinks the Falcons are good.
Well, anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, even heading into the season, their win total was 9.5, so they're kind of on track to finish exactly what people expect.
Hey, you ripped the over. That's okay. That's fine. It's fine. Yeah. It's cool.
I think you ripped the over too.
I sure did. Last time I listened to you, Ian.
Producer Sean says Panthers. Chuba Hubbard from Alberta. Yeah, he's from I forget the exact place in Alberta, but yeah, Canadian, and he killed me by fumbling the ball. All right, Jets and Dolphins. Dolphins, their loss this past week on Thursday night against the Packers basically killed their play. I mean, the AFC playoff picture is set for the most part, unless the Broncos just completely implode down the stretch and the Dolphins or the Colts win out. The AFC playoff picture is set, which is wild, that especially now where we have 3 wildcard teams, for it to be this set. You know, we still have 5 weeks left of the season.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins, I mean, they have a chance if they win out, but I mean, it's still unlikely. So they have something to play for. They're 6-point favorites against the Jets, who the Jets are dead.
Yeah, and man, it has to be exhausting if you're a Jets fan or if you're a Jets player not named Aaron Rodgers. It just has to be exhausting. All these, is he having a show come out? I mean, he's having all these storylines of, yeah, you know what? I'm going to try and play every single game. Yeah, no bleep, dumbass. You signed up for this. You're a football player. You're a quarterback. You should play every game. What? Oh my gosh, good for you, Aaron. Here you go, bud. You're going to try and play every game? That's your goal? Not win? Not try and win a playoff game, just play. Gosh, it's just, has anyone done more damage to their legacy over the past couple of seasons than Aaron Rodgers? I can't think of anyone. I mean, I'm sure there have been, but as far as on-field play and just exhaustion of listening to the dude talk nonstop about nonsense, he's no longer, if you're winning, fine, go ahead, do these shows. Hop on Pat McAfee every week. Do your hits about you coming back from injury. You've won. Are they 3? They've won 3 games this year. Is that it?
Yeah, 3-9.
You're 3-9.
Yeah.
You're in New York. God, like, it's just so obnoxious. So obnoxious. I have some friends who are Jets fans, and I feel for them for this exact reason. You should have stayed with Zach Wilson at least. Hell, you won 7 games with Zach. We're all fooled. You weren't, Ian. I was, as well as 90% of America. We thought, okay, that defense, but even the defense, I think, is tired of Aaron shit.
Yeah, and the Bills have already won that division, by the way, which is crazy for a team to clinch the division this early in the season. Earliest, do you know the team that clinched their division the earliest in NFL history?
The undefeated Dolphins?
The undefeated Patriots in 2007.
Okay.
One
of those two.
It was 2 weeks after the earliest clinch in NFL history. Embarrassing for the Jets, embarrassing for the Dolphins. With that being said, I will take the Dolphins. I'm not getting tricked into betting the Jets whatsoever the rest of the season. I fell for that that trap a couple times early in the season, mid part of the season, not doing again. The Dolphins still have weapons offensively. The Jets have nothing. They can't run the football. They can't throw the football. They haven't been able to play defense since Robert Salah has been fired. The Jets are a dumpster fire.
Well, my point is, you might still take the Jets and they'll be winning, and then just blow it at the very end.
Yeah,
I might take the 6 because 6 is still a decent number.
Yeah. Raiders and Buccaneers. I will be a Raiders fan on Sunday because the Falcons aren't going to win the division themselves. They now need the Buccaneers to lose some games. So the Raiders are 6.5-point underdogs, fresh off almost beating a Chiefs team that's kind of on an equal level to the Raiders. So let's see if they can, beat another bad team in the Buccaneers, but they are set as 6.5-point underdogs, which is a lot smaller of a spread than it was last week.
I don't think the Bucs are bad. I think the Raiders do have some sort of, I don't know if it's an advantage, but they play the Chiefs a lot differently than almost any other team, and I think folks are getting fooled by that. I think the Buccaneers handle business here. I think they win by at least 6.5. I think people are getting fooled by that Chiefs game. I think that's what it comes down to.
My issue with the Buccaneers, extremely good offense, but horrible defense. I don't think enough people have been talking about how bad the Buccaneers defense is. I think they're bottom 3 in success rate and opponent success rate. So, but then they're top 10 in almost most offensive metrics. Bucky Irving has been fantastic. So it's just kind of they're going to score points. Is their defense going to do enough to kind of slow the other team down enough to then cover a spread? They weren't able to last week against a pretty bad Panthers team. Can they do it this week with the same spread against a Raiders team? Raiders offense, that's supposed to be the worst offense in the NFL. Aiden O'Connell is supposed to make them even worse, but then they moved the ball against the Chiefs. So I don't really know what to think of the Raiders. I don't know if I can trust the Buccaneers defensively to do enough to cover the spread. This is a weird one for me. I did lay the points of the Buccaneers, but I am going to cheer for the Raiders quite hard because I would really like it for them to win this game. Matthew says, in the Battle of the Pirates, the Bucs win. That's a good point. I guess the Raiders are, kind of a pirate, aren't they?
They're kind of a pirate, yeah.
I think so. I think their logo has an eye patch on it, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And all of a sudden, Pittsburgh comes out of nowhere.
Also, a rematch of Super Bowl 37?
Warren Sapp.
Did I get that number right? It'd be impressive if I did. Super Bowl 37. Look at that. Pretty good. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the Falcons and Vikings. I'm going to put my Falcons fandom aside here and just let the people know that the Vikings are going to win this game by 25 points. This is going to be a blowout. This is going to be embarrassing. This is going to be disgusting. This is going to be one of the worst performances that you'll ever see from a team in NFL history. They'll be losing this game from start to finish. It will be a complete disaster. The start Michael Penix chance will start. It's going to be, this is going to stink. The Vikings have the best run defense in the NFL, first in opponent rush EPA, first in opponent rush success rate, third in opponent yards per carry. So the Falcons can't run the football. So what are they going to do? They're going to have to make Kirk Cousins throw the ball, who's been a complete bum the past few weeks against his former team. And Kirk Cousins is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL this season when facing pressure. And guess who has the third highest pressure rate in the NFL? The Minnesota Vikings. Then you have defensively a Falcons secondary that already stinks. Now they're banged up. Mike Hughes is questionable again. And now they have to face Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Jalen Naylor. The Vikings might win by 50 points. I can't think of a matchup that's more directed in one team's favor in the entire NFL season. You couldn't draw a better matchup for the Vikings. This is going to be a disaster, certainly. This is going to be a disaster.
I know what you're trying to do.
It's 38-13.
I know what you're trying to do.
And the touchdown the Falcons get is going to be last minute garbage time. The Vikings have their third stringers in.
It's the reverse jinx. I know what you're trying to do. You can't fool me.
No, this is not a reverse jinx.
I think the Falcons cover. I think the Falcons might win.
Ugh.
I think when everyone
how?
I think it's just I do this a good amount. Doesn't always work. It's why I'm not a professional bettor. But when everything goes one way, I'm always like, I'm doing the opposite. Everyone's taking the Vikings. The Vikings keep winning games. Falcons look horrible. Everyone remembers Kirk Cousins throwing 4 interceptions. I go, he's not throwing 4 again. A lot of times when guys have their worst performance, they bounce back with a damn good one. The revenge game for Kirk. I'm taking the Falcons in this one. Maybe not straight up, but I'm for sure taking the points.
It's not even a revenge game for Kirk. You hear like the media ask him about like if this is a revenge spot for him, excited to face his former team. He's happy to face them because he loves everyone on the team because there's not a mean bone in his body. That's his problem. He's too nice.
I'm just trying to zig when I'm zigging when everyone else is zagging is what I'm trying to do.
I appreciate that. I appreciate a good zig when everyone else zags, but I mean, I think Penix might start against the Raiders on Monday night next week.
Wow.
He might. And I have been watching Penix highlights, by the way.
I'm sure you have been.
My week is I've in the background just had Michael Penix Jr. highlights from his time at Washington. He's good. I'm excited. All right. So opposite sides on that one for sure. No, I'm truly not trying to reverse jinx them. I honestly think this is the worst matchup of all time for the Falcons. I just don't know how they're going to be able to do anything. Browns and Steelers. We saw this game just 2 weeks ago. Very different game this time around, obviously, because they're not going to be playing in a foot of snow. It is in Pittsburgh. The Browns got the upset in the snow. Can they pull off the upset? I assume it's not going to be snowing in Pittsburgh, but maybe it is. I haven't heard anything. But can they pull off the upset in what is assumingly going to be much better weather in Pittsburgh?
They can. They're playing some feisty football right now. They're not winning many games, but they're at least playing a lot better, right? With Jameis Winston at the helm. We saw the most Jameis Winston game of all Jameis Winston games, which was 479, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, including the back-breaking one in the end zone. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy is blossoming into a legitimate, I don't know if a wide receiver one's the correct terminology, because I hate saying like, oh, he's definitely, well, because he's the wide receiver 1 for the Browns, but he's not like an A.J. Brown. But like the last 5 or so weeks, he's been a wide receiver 1. And it's not just that last game of 235. Jerry Jeudy has really come on strong with his connection with Jameis. Very impressive. The issue is the Steelers' defense really, really good. I mean, really, really good. And I don't trust a lot of the other Browns players. David Njoku's fine. Nick Chubb has been okay, but not the Nick Chubb of old. I just find myself thinking it's going to be very difficult for the Browns in this one.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel the same way heading into this game that I felt heading into the game 2 weeks ago, where it's surprising to me, Sterling, that the Steelers are this big of a favorite, because it's a cliche, but I think you can kind of throw out the analytics when AFC North teams play against each other, especially any game involving the Browns and the Steelers. It just seems like it's a game that, once again, anything can happen. And with Jameis Winston, he can throw for 400 yards. He can also throw a million picks. So it's any game involving Jameis Winston. I don't know what side to bet on. I am betting on this, though. I'll talk about it later when we get to our picks. But 6.5 seems kind of crazy for a Steelers team who, yes, I've bought into the Steelers and them being able to win games against probably superior opponents. But covering a touchdown spread is a whole different thing.
Agreed.
Saints and Giants.
Ew.
Is Drew Lock playing? Do we know who's court? Is it DeVito again? Do we know who's playing?
DeVito now.
Yeah, I think they're leaning. Who cares about this game? I guess.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's a race for the bottom. It's the Giants. I still like Tyrone Tracy. I still think the Giants are giving the ball to Devin Singletary way too often. Tyrone Tracy has been by far the better running back. I guess maybe they just don't want to get a lot of miles on him this year, because since they're already out of it. But he's been pretty fun to watch. He's averaging 5 yards a carry, which is extremely good for a rookie running. I mean, Saquon never averaged 5 yards per carry on the Giants, I don't think.
No. By the way, Drew Lock should start. He looked so much better than DeVito.
Lock is starting.
Okay. And he looked so much better than the numbers indicated. He had that brutal pick six and the little screen pass, which was a phenomenal play by Overshawn, but still, you can't throw that ball. But that's still a great play. And then Darius Slayton must hate him because just dropped 2, like it would have been an extra 80 yards on his total. That was just dropped by Slayton because, of course.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about that game? Any thoughts about the Saints? Taysom Hill being out sucks because Taysom Hill is one of the more interesting players in the NFL. So we won't see. He was kind of the only thing that was interesting left for the Saints. He's done for the season.
Yeah, I'm out.
Producer Sean has corrected me. Barkley did average 5 yards per carry in his rookie season. So, all right. Best running back for the Giants. Best running back performance for the Giants in Saquon's rookie season. Yeah, I have no other thoughts. But the Saints are still technically alive in the NFC South. I think they have to win out though. Talking about games that we don't care about. I mean, this is the downside of an NFL season that we're having this year, where the playoff teams, especially in the AFC, I mean, we already have our 7 playoff teams. We have the good teams and then the horrific teams, which makes for it. I mean, it's week 15 and we already have games against teams who their season's over. They got nothing left to play for. It is the Jaguars. It is the Titans. The Titans, who have covered the spread twice all season, are now 3.5-point home favorites to the Jaguars, who will be starting Mac Jones after Trevor Lawrence got decapitated last week.
Yeah, yeah, this is going to be a game.
What do we even say about this game?
This is a game.
It is a football game that will be happening on Sunday.
Yes.
I'll take the Titans again. I've taken the Titans, I think, every week this season, and they are the worst team against the spread all season. My betting record would be so much better this season if I just did not take the Titans every single week. But I'm addicted to taking the Titans. Did you know, Sterling, the Tennessee Titans, get ready for it, net yards per play better than the Kansas City Chiefs this season? Fact.
Cool.
0.0 to minus 0.1.
Nice. What's the Titans' record?
Not good.
Oh, okay.
Not good.
What's the Chiefs?
Their record
best in
is
the AFC.
Fraudulent is what it is. The luckiest team in NFL history.
Which is not true because you looked it up.
In late game situations. Which I also don't know if that's
true.
You
also don't know if that's true or not because
the eye test tells me. Which Chiefs fans tell me the only thing important is the eye test. Stats are made up. Stats don't matter. The only thing that's important, even though all stats do is measure things that actually happen on the football field, Chiefs fans think that stats are made up.
Yeah, I don't agree with those people, but the Chiefs are still 11-1. Fact.
That is a fact. That is a fact. And as a Chiefs fan,
5 more wins and 5 fewer losses than your Atlanta Falcons. Yep. Fact.
Wow. And as a fan, that is all you should care about. So fair enough. But they will be on my podcast this week, Sterling. I made the official declaration. I am guaranteeing the Chiefs will be a one-and-done team in the playoffs. They will lose their first playoff game this season.
What are we betting?
I don't care if that's in the wild card round or the divisional round. I don't care who they're playing against, unless it's the Texans. I don't love the Texans against them. If it's anyone other than the Texans,
they lose the first round. You don't get to choose. You get right now, one and done, or they're not.
I've already said it. So, yes, I'm just going to hope that it's not the Texans.
What are we going to bet? Golf balls or?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We can do golf balls again if you want. I mean, I lost one of yours in Florida. I'm almost out of the ones you got me last year.
I will do a 12-pack of golf balls, not Pro V1s, though. Those are like $70.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
12-pack of golf balls.
Okay.
Okay, deal. All right, we are going to talk about the Chiefs here. What's that? Yeah.
Some Bridgestone, some Strixons, all that stuff.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the Chiefs here in a little bit, but still a few more games to get to. A pivotal one in the NFC West. The NFC West, a fun race. As crazy as it sounds, it's kind of like the 49ers are the only team that's out of it now. The Seahawks have a 1-game lead on both the Cardinals and the Rams. And the Seahawks, if they beat the Cardinals and they're slight underdogs in Arizona, they kind of get a firm grasp on the division because then they have both wins over the Cardinals, so they get the tiebreaker over the Cardinals. I think they'll be 3-2 in the division. The Cardinals lose this game because then if the Cardinals lose this game, it's almost as if they want the Rams to then get better because they've lost the tiebreaker to the Seahawks, but they would at least right now have the tiebreaker over the Rams and they play them again in week 18. So there's so many different situations that could happen in the final stretch in that division. But regardless, huge game for whoever can win between the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
Yeah, can't wait to watch this one. Should be outstanding. Should be a higher scoring game, but maybe it's going to do the opposite, because once you think that, it tends to do something different. Arizona has struggled a little bit. Arizona's been a weird team. They're very streaky. Yes. Very streaky. And right now, it's not looking great. Kyler Murray had a better game this past game than the one previous, but he still threw a couple interceptions, including the one that was the to seal it. Again, he had to try and make a play. I'm not going to begrudge Kyler Murray for that specific play, but you got to score more points early on. The issue's kind of been they don't have any weapons outside of like Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison's been fine, but he's a rookie wide receiver, and you're seeing him at times look like a rookie wide receiver. James Conner has been okay. I don't think he's ever the most efficient guy. He's been in and out, healthy, then injured, then but Trey McBride has been the constant. They don't have a great offensive line, and it's basically been the Kyler Trey McBride show, and is that going to be enough? And what we've seen over the past couple of weeks is no, it will not be enough. You got to start getting more players involved, and until we see that, I think the Seahawks have the edge.
Yeah, both defenses have played a lot better the past few weeks, and this was a low-scoring game. The first game they met, I think, was 16-6 for the Seahawks just like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it's going to be another low-scoring one, because what I do know, you're right, both teams are very confusing to me. What I do know is that both teams' defenses have played much better in the last 5 or 6 weeks than they did in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. So I'm going to go with that and bet on this. I mean, I don't think it's going to be 16-6 again, but a total of 44.5 is a little high, I think. Bills and Rams. The Rams 4.5-point home underdogs. Rams kind of have to win to stay alive in the NFC West, depending on what goes on in the Seahawks-Cardinals game. The Bills trying to catch the Chiefs for the number 1 seed in the AFC, which seeding is all that matters for the Bills now. They've clinched a playoff spot. They've clinched the AFC East. Little bit of it, the spread's not as big as I thought it would be. The Bills have been rolling.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not a 7-point spread or a 6.5, probably. 6.5 is probably what I was thinking. The Bills look incredible. It really does look like it's kind of in Detroit and in Buffalo right now. I think those are kind of 1-2. Eagles might be 3. The Chiefs you still have to put in there because the record, obviously, even though they've struggled. I mean, they keep winning. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I get it. They're frauds. They're frauds. Well, they're such big frauds. They keep winning. Like, okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, but we'll see. Point remains, the Bills look incredible right now.
Yeah.
But is this a sell high moment? I don't know if it's this game because of the point spread only being 4.5, but both teams have a lot to play for. The Rams, I don't want to say are desperate, but they're playing for a playoff spot. You talked about it. That makes for a dangerous team. The Bills secondary is going to have to be on their A game. And at times they can be taken advantage of. They did just bring back one of their former safeties, Micah Hyde. It was Micah Hyde.
Yes, it was.
They brought back Micah Hyde. Who was the other one? Jordan Poyer is what I was thinking of. They did bring back Micah Hyde.
Yes.
To go with Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin. But we'll see, man. I think this could be a good matchup for the Rams to try and torch that Bills secondary.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Bills defense is kind of being underrated. I think on this run the Bills are on, everyone's talking Josh Allen MVP, this offense, but their defense has played well. Yeah. Like they're not really having to win these shootout games that some other good teams are having to win.
Because they're winning 35-10.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Rams, and I also think it's the same thing for the Rams. I don't think it's necessarily their offense that has kind of gotten them back in the mix for a playoff spot. It's been their defense, specifically their pass rush. Jared Verse. He's been unbelievable. Man, would I love to have him on the Falcons. Whew. But no, we had to take a quarterback, which actually maybe it's a good thing we took Penix. That draft pick is looking better and better by the week. Bears and 49ers, two teams who, if you want to talk about two of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this season, these two might top the list. Especially the 49ers coming off being the NFC champions have looked horrific. They are now injured. Top 2 running backs out. Defensive lineman, who I'm blanking on the name on right now, out for the season. one of the most injured teams in the NFL. Brandon Ayuk's obviously out. Deebo Samuel has not been the same player. But yet, for some reason, they're still 4-point favorites to the Bears.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to me, just with how I think you're just judging them off of what we've seen the 49ers do in the past. They just have not done that at all this season. The Bears, I don't know what to make of. Offense kind of looks better since firing their OC. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen had a great game. Was that Thanksgiving?
Yes. The Keenan Allen had a good game.
When he had the 2 touchdowns. And yeah, that's nice to see. The Keenan Allen of old, the great route runner. I mean, one of those ones he just crossed a dude. It was incredible. I don't know what to make of this game. Just a disappointing season for both teams.
Yeah. I still believe in the 49ers. Not to make the playoffs, I believe in them in this game, though. Because the 49ers have just finished a gauntlet of teams. Credit to the 49ers. I mean, they didn't win any of those games.
No.
But also, we do need to know, like, the recent version of the 49ers that have looked horrific, those 49ers had to play, I mean, the Seahawks, a decent team, a Packers team in Lambeau, and a Buffalo team, a Bills team in Buffalo. So, like, that's not easy. So I think maybe it's a buy low spot on the 49ers, but also you could buy low on the Bears. I mean, maybe take the team that's fresh off firing their head coach. I mean, those teams are 2-0 this year, right?
Yep.
The Saints beat the Falcons. Was it the Falcons they beat right after firing Dennis Allen? And who fired their coach early in the season and then won?
Robert Saleh Jets.
Robert Saleh Jets. And I don't think they won a game since then. I don't think so.
Jeff Saturday won with the Colts. So it happens.
Right.
This is
it's so if you keep following that trend, take the Bears.
They can't be worse in late game situations than they were. So it's at least an improvement.
All right, Sunday Night Football. Let's talk the Chargers and the Chiefs. Chiefs 4-point favorites for I don't know what reason. The Chiefs haven't covered a spread, I think, in 6 games, at least 5, maybe 6. I assume, Sterling, I'll give you credit. I assume you're probably not going to take the Chiefs to cover, but you do think they win.
Yeah, I'd take the Chargers at the points all day. Yeah. All day. I mean, if the Chargers won, I wouldn't be surprised. The Chiefs have already beat the Chargers once this season. It was, 17-10, low-scoring game.
Herbert was pretty banged up.
He's always banged up. I give so much credit to Justin Herbert. That dude is tough as nails. They were talking about it today. Charles Omenihu, edge rusher for Kansas City, who's back now, came back against Carolina, looked pretty good, actually. You saw the defensive line get way more sacks than they have in the previous few games. A lot of that is Charles Omenihu coming back off of the IR first game of the season since he tore his ACL last year. But he talked about how tough Justin Herbert is, and that stood out to me because Herbert is always injured, rib injuries, doesn't matter. And Herbert typically plays some of his best football against Kansas City. It hasn't always translated to wins, and sometimes it has ended in a back-breaking interception, but Herbert typically plays pretty well against Kansas City, and he's playing some really good football. The reason being is he's having time to throw. Joe Alt, and you're seeing what he's doing along with Rashawn Slater, those tackles are outstanding. Is why I wanted the Chargers to draft Joe Alt and why I thought it made sense for them to get Ladd McConkey. I thought it was a phenomenal draft, and you are seeing why. Ladd McConkey has been their wide receiver 1. My bet on him to win Rookie of the Year might not hit, but it wasn't too far off. He looks really, really good. He actually might be the best rookie wide receiver this year. I don't think he's better than Marvin Harrison. I don't think he's better than Malik Neighbors. That's not what I'm saying. As far as production, though, in year 1, it has been him. I've been impressed with the Chargers, with Harbaugh. I didn't think this turnaround would happen this quickly. I thought they might get to 500 this year. They are blowing that out of the water. I am very impressed. That being said, until the Chiefs lose these close games, why would I bet against them? I'll take the Chargers with the points, but if you're saying who's going to win this game, sorry, somehow Herbert's going to go to kneel the ball, he's going to fumble, and the Chiefs will fall on it.
Hey, I got to give you credit. At least you're honest about how they're going to win.
It won't be normal. It's not going to be like, oh, yeah, Mahomes shreds them for 350. No, it's going to be something ridiculous, and the Chiefs will find a way.
It's been a new way that they've won at the end of the game every single week. So how do they win this week? I'm going to guess the Chargers down 5. They're on the goal line. 1st and goal, and they turn the ball over. Whether it's a fumble or an interception, I don't know. But they turn the ball over in the last 30 seconds of the game. where a touchdown would win on the goal line.
Sure.
A la like the Seahawks against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. We're going to see that.
Totally see it.
Yeah. And I will laugh and cry at the same time. Chargers are my upset pick of the week, by the way. It's the Breaking Bad meme. They can't keep getting away with this.
They
can't keep getting away with it.
I'm not surprised, man. I think a lot of people will be on the Chargers this week. I think Vegas is probably hoping this might be one of the few weeks that they hope Kansas City wins.
Yeah. Or, I mean, maybe they'll finally cover a spread. We'll see. They have been horrific against the spread this season. All right. I actually had Monday Night Football on the list, but we do not talk Monday Night Football on this episode. We save that for Monday's show. So this time before bringing it up, I did save myself. All right, let's wrap up with our picks for the week. My picks have been horrific all season on this show. It's mostly comes down to the fact I can't pick an upset winner to save my life, Sterling.
Yeah, you've been bad.
Yeah, on Sports Illustrated, we do like a round table every week where all the SI football writers make their upset pick of the week. I'm going to bring up my record here. I haven't hit an upset winner since week 5. I've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 upset picks in a row. And last week, the Cardinals should have won that one. Sure. That was a heartbreaker to lose Cardinals upset.
Yeah.
So my upset picks, we are 13 weeks into the season. I am 2-11 on upset picks for minus 7.45 units.
Oh,
my spread picks, my total picks are fine. My upset picks are horrific. But you have been good with your upset picks. You did not hit your upset pick last week.
I think I won the other 2 last week. I won the over under and the.
Last week, you took. Oh no, last week you won.
I did win.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at
the last one I did was week 12. I did week 12.
The
Browns
you did hit
won.
your upset pick. You picked. Yes, that's where I was confused because you weren't on
Eagles
last
minus 2.5. They got it. Browns won, and New England and Miami went over 46. I had the under because that one was Miami put it on them at the very end.
Yes, we did not do picks last week because it was a super show. We both recapped and previewed, so we didn't have time for picks. So 2 weeks ago. You went 2-1. Yeah. Eagles covered. Browns hit as an underdog. You're under in New England and Miami did not hit. I cashed Cowboys plus 10.5. That was against the Commanders. I should have just made them my upset pick. Eagles Rams under did not hit because instead of just kneeling after he got the first down, Saquon Barkley decided to take it 72 yards to the house to kill that under. And I picked 49ers against whoever they played, the Packers, and then Brock Purdy didn't play and they lost by 58 points. All right. This week, spread bet of the week. Sterling, go ahead.
Yeah, this week I'm rolling Buccaneers 6.5 versus the Raiders. I think they cover. I told you I think people are being fooled by the Raiders because of what they did against Kansas City. I think those people will be sorely mistaken this week.
I do think 2 teams in a very similar spot to that point, Sterling. I believe it is the Raiders who people are being tricked into being better than they are. And then my spread pick, the Panthers. People are being tricked into them being better than they are. So I will take the Eagles minus 12 against Carolina for my spread bet of the week. I think this is the week people remember that Bryce Young actually is not good.
Sure.
Upset of the week. I already told you. I'm taking the Chargers in Sunday Night Football. Ladd McConkey being potentially out in this game does make me nervous for that pick. I don't know who Justin Herbert's going to throw to. But Chargers are still my upset pick. Who are you going with?
Wait, Ladd McConkey's not out, is he? He's just questionable.
I think I saw today's not officially doubtful, but like, there was a report that it's not looking good.
Are you kidding me? In the fantasy football playoffs, Ladd McConkey's going to miss?
Yeah, but also that's typical Chiefs that like the Chargers' best offensive player. Oh, no, it does say this report says set to practice on Wednesday. Okay, so I don't know what I read earlier. What I read earlier maybe made it seem like, so let's just say he's questionable. I hope he does play.
I got the Rams. Rams over Bills. I'm selling high on the Bills this one game.
Hungry dogs run faster.
Correct. That's what I'm rolling with.
Chris Hale. Oh, is this a controversy? This is a controversial how the Chiefs are going to win. His prediction for how the Chiefs are going to pull off the win this season. Chris says KC down 2 with 40 seconds left. Get ball on kickoff. Make 2 first downs and get a very controversial pass interference call to get them in a field goal range. Make field goal, win by 1.
Great call.
Sounds great. Yeah, and it'll be a very controversial pass interference, but every single Chiefs fan on the internet will say it was a clear pass interference, and it's not even in question.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be controversial. It's probably a real one, but everyone's going to call it controversial because it makes them feel better about themselves. All right, my total, I'm going Jags-Titans over 39.5. The Jags defense is buns. Will Levis has been chucking the rock. Calvin Ridley, for the most part, last week was a little quiet, but has been a really good wide receiver for the Titans. I like the over in this one, so I think 39.5 is pretty low. Pretty low.
I will go Browns-Steelers over 44. I said earlier, don't know how to pick a side in a game involving Jameis Winston. What I do know is that what he does results in points, whether it's points for the Browns or points for the other team because he just threw pick 6. Points will happen when Jameis Winston is on the field. So I'll take, and the Steelers offense has also been a lot better recently too. I'll take the over 44 between the Browns and the Steelers. So there you go. That is our show. Sterling, final thoughts.
Yeah. You're a hater. You're a hater.
I'm now a hater. Yes, correct. I'm a Chiefs hater. I'm going to war with the Chiefs the rest of the season.
Shave your beard and leave the goatee. That's my final thought.
My final thought is I have declared war on the Kansas City Chiefs, and I will laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh when they are one and done. Matthew, so Ian's upset pick 7 bad, and he picked the Chargers. Chiefs will be fine. Yeah, great point. Touche, to be completely honest. Great fact. All right, thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, to recap the action and prep for Monday Night Football, which is not going to be a good game anymore, but Joe Burrow will be playing, so it'll be fun. Also, there's like a Simpsons version of the game. That'll be fun. Bengals, Cowboys on Monday, 9:30 a.m. Subscribe to Stack in the Box on YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching, listening. We'll talk to you then.